Hello and welcome to the From the Spirit World podcast, a legendary Avatar The Last Airbender and the Legend of Korra podcast for overlyanimated.com. This is the FTSW Rewatch, the definitive Avatar fans rewatch from the biggest Avatar fans you know. We'll be reflecting on Avatar and Korra 20 years later after being huge fans of both shows while they originally aired. I am your host, Dylan, and today I'm joined by Delaney
Hey y'all.
and Jeff.
Howdy.
We've reached the Day of Black Sun on our Book 3 rewatch for the FTSW rewatch. The Day of Black Sun Part 1 in The Invasion and the Day of Black Sun Part 2, The Eclipse. Only these two episodes on this one. We're just doing 2 instead of 3, and then we'll go back to 3 for the next 2 podcasts. Check out our previous Book 3 podcast to catch up on all the discussion points on Avatar Book 3 so far. You could search for From the Spirit World or Overly Animated anywhere to subscribe to either feed or a dedicated FTSW rewatch feed to get all of these podcasts. We're not on video for Book 3, but you can check out youtube.com/overlyanimated for the podcast as well. We'll be in full spoiler territory for all of Avatar and Korra throughout this rewatch, regardless of what episodes are being discussed. And you can let us know you're listening to leave a comment wherever you are, or you can send an email at podcast@overlyanimated.com. YouTube comments, Spotify comments, seen some YouTube and Spotify comments on the last few, so that's good stuff. Thank you guys. But we have some exciting episodes to talk about here, revisiting Day of Black Sun. And we will later on, I will recap the old From the Spirit World podcast. Might be the highlight of this one. There's some good stuff. And we'll discuss current events maybe. So a lot of fun stuff coming. But obviously, even more importantly, Katang, Kiss, Zuko,
Yes.
Betrayal. Is that what we call it? I don't know. These are big moments in the series that we're getting into here. So let's, I guess I can introduce the episodes. Day of Black Sun, Part 1, The Invasion, directed by John Claire Volpe, written by Mike DiMartino. Day of Black Sun, Part 2, The Eclipse, directed by Joaquim Dos Santos, written by Aaron E. Haas. And these aired on November 30th, 2007, I believe 2 weeks or so after the last episode. We'll get more into what was happening at that time when we recap the old podcast. Delaney, what was it like for you rewatching these episodes?
I enjoyed it a lot. I will say I don't remember if I watched these like live, like when they actually came out. I'm not sure. But rewatching it's great. I don't think I don't like I haven't watched these episodes like a bunch in comparison to like other parts of book 3. So
Yeah.
it's nice to watch it. It's very cinematic. It's very much like epic battle. It is funny to watch it, like knowing what's happening, like what's going to happen. Like, oh, like I know it's a trap. Like, and also like beforehand, like it's kind of like it's really interesting. I think tension because Azula knows, and then you're just like, great, this is great. And then it's kind of funny. It also kind of like which I don't think I realized like originally is like when Aang goes to the palace, like it plays out like his nightmare, kind of. So, which is
Yeah.
interesting. And it's just nice. It's just good. Um,
What'd you
Hakoda,
think of
go
it? What'd
away.
you think
I'm
of the
sick of
cat,
it.
the kiss?
Oh, I mean, the kiss is great. The whole time I was like, kiss. Like, I'm waiting. I was like, let's get to that bit.
Hmm.
The subs are cool. It's all great. And then I'm like, kiss, 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 kiss. And it was great. And like Qatar blush, it's great. It's great. They're both so
Yeah.
cute. And then Aang just flies off. And then I'm like, I can't wait for the argument that's in like 8 episodes. Great.
Fun.
It's
Yeah.
great. Yay!
Okay.
I don't. Well, I remember the Zuko bits. I didn't really remember so much him like telling his dad off, so that was cool. I was also like super rolling my eyes about his mom, but it's also nice because Zuko's like kind of is very much following in her footsteps. But also Zuko, you could have just stabbed him, like that would have been fine too. Like
It's not
just
my
for the record,
destiny. Like, it could
right? Like
be. Just do it.
you could, yeah, you could have done it. Like okay, yeah, I liked it. It was a good time. The
Nice.
CGI wasn't like disgusting like it can be when the tanks are involved. I like did not remember at all that they introduced airships and they were like they're super menacing. It's great.
Yeah, I didn't remember that
It's
either.
also right. Also, it's really funny. Like it's just the show is so goofy. Like it's so funny like how much the airships become they're in the opening sequence. They're in we introduce the airships. And then like the airships are a big deal in Korra, and I'm like, which one of you just really likes Zeppelins? Like who is it? Like
Yeah, well, the answer is
which
they.
Zeppelins are cool. I'm not gonna argue about it, but like
The answer
it's
is
just fun.
Miyazaki likes airships famously,
You're
and
right. That's what it
they're
is.
they
Okay.
just
I
copy
mean, he's
Miyazaki the whole
correct.
show.
Like they're great. Like I love them. It's just funny.
One of
Also,
my
Toph is great.
souvenirs,
Ooh, yeah.
one of my souvenirs from my recent Japan trip was a metal model of the Hindenburg.
Oh,
I'm
Excellent.
interesting.
very looking forward to building that.
Nice.
I want pictures because I made one in 5th grade for like a project.
Ooh,
A
Mine was not
Hindenburg?
that impressive. Yeah, because it was like for a 5th grade project. Yeah, my
Oh,
dad,
okay.
we used
So like
like,
a.
my dad helped. Yeah, it was
Okay.
like for school.
Anyway,
But we used like Hobby Lobby, like cardboard, like eggs, and like it was like an oval shape, and then like a lot of duct tape and like a gray tablecloth.
that sounds fantastic.
That's what I remember. Yep.
I don't remember what you were talking about the airships, but anyway, anything else, Delaney?
Oh, there's also lots of focus on Toph. Excellent, love Toph. And then Tanya came in at the end, and so she was watched. Like, so that was funny. Tanya's commentary is always a delight.
And
So
Tanya had not seen these episodes.
probably not, or doesn't remember.
Yeah.
And she got confused because so it ends, and she was like, "That was it." She's like, "You have to watch another one." I was like, "No." I'm like, "That's the last one." I'm like, "I watched," because she ran to the store, and I like watched both episodes. So she just caught like the tail end of part 2.
That's good. Okay. Well, saw the very exciting Haru
Yes.
and friends joining them. Very important
She was
stuff.
very much like she was like heckling Sokka because she's like, "Shut up! She's tricking you!" Like it was pretty funny.
That's good. Okay. Good stuff. Jeff, what was it like for you rewatching these episodes?
I really like these episodes. The first thing that jumped to mind was like, oh, cool, we have new outfits. It's always fun to see
Love
new.
new outfits
Yes,
always.
yes. And I'm just looking at like when you're watching something and it's just like, oh, that's so cool, that's so cool. I'm looking at the notes I took on this last rewatch, and like there's like 5 or 6 like, oh, cool gates, cool subs, cool sub entrances, cool tanks. Like there was just so much cool stuff in this episode that I remember loving when I first watched it. So I also remember not thinking too highly of the invasion plan in general and how it was carried
Mm.
out. We can talk more about that. But yeah,
And you mean the
it was a
plan
good time.
itself, right?
Well, actually, I now have issues with the plan itself. At the time I first watched it, I just had issues with the execution. I think
Sure.
Hakoda did some dumb stuff there.
Wow.
Yes.
I like the Hakoda criticism.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
He's
sucks.
he's
I was
so
like, go
well,
away.
he's so untouchable in the show, like he's the big figure. But
Dressing up his tactical failures in high-minded rhetoric.
it feels like they're kind of just sitting there defending off attacks for a while. I don't know. There's probably more efficient ways to go about what they're doing.
I feel like it was pretty clear that it was all a trap from like the get go, and they could have figured it out earlier.
Yeah, interesting. I don't remember if we thought. I mean, it's hard to say because as a viewer,
Right.
you know that they know for so long that it's like, I don't even know. It's like, are you supposed to understand it's a trap? Is it supposed to be like kind of a surprise, but kind of not in the way it plays out? It's kind of interesting in the way the options they
Right.
had in executing these episodes. Um. Anyway, yeah, I enjoyed both parts of this. Yeah, I think these are maybe not the most rewatchable. If you're, I guess, if you're into the invasion action stuff, I think then maybe they're super rewatchable. But there's a lot that wasn't top of mind here. I think the Katang kiss is the thing that was most ingrained in my mind.
Peak. Most
Yeah, peak.
important.
I'll say again, once it starts, I'm like just I have like something like a flashback, or I don't know what movie comparison to make, but it just like I like my mind like locks in. It's like, wow, this is the emotional trigger for me, as I've described with past Katang scenes. Like I'm like, wow, okay, I know everything that's happening here. I've rewatched this probably hundreds of times when I was younger, and this is so emotionally resonant and meaningful for me. There's this kiss scene along with all the other iconic Katang scenes, but Yeah, hard to overemphasize that this is like some of the most emotional stuff in my life is these Katang moments in Avatar. Like out of all of TV and movies, this is definitely the most emotionally resonant thing rewatching is these big Katang moments. Definitely true of this kiss. This is like super iconic scene for me, and yeah, I loved it again. I mean, I'm too biased to really comment on is it good their approach? Is it bad? I don't know. I think it was great, but I'm too biased. Part one, I think it's good. I don't remember if I don't. This episode isn't super like stand out in my head in terms of is it an all time great or anything, but I think it's a great part one. For the invasion. Everyone's coming back is good. Aang mentions the Avatar state in the beginning of this episode for the first time since the book two finale. And I was just having trauma from being raging over
Fair.
that as a child. Weirdly, I didn't really talk about it much on the podcast at the time, but I know I hated it so much that they just did not do anything with it for so many episodes, and then just mention it here. I guess it's good at least they mention it.
And then
Um,
Toph is like blah 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 blah. Like
oh
Not
God.
space.
Trying to trigger me basically is as what they were doing.
basically.
Yeah, well, I guess at in the finale podcast we'll give the ultimate evaluation of how bad is all the Avatar stuff handled when we get to the Rock. Does it even matter anymore on this rewatch? I think it definitely matters less so far than at the time because I'm not like sitting there awaiting every episode, not knowing what's going to happen, and I can kind of appreciate the episode to episode more. But we will see how much I rage at the Rock when we get there. But
Sure.
and not a good sign because I did kind of rage at this one line in this episode, so I don't think it'll be good. But it was like not like it was contained rage. It was just like okay, that's kind of funny. The battles stuff was I said battle stuff was coherent, interesting, and there's good character moments. The Zuko parts I appreciate the quiet. I continue to appreciate the quiet Zuko stuff between last episode, episode 9, and this one a lot more than I did at the time. I think that's kind of the one thing. The melodramatic Zuko stuff from 306, 307, or 305, the like the beach, and then the like both of my grandfathers. Like I think that stuff's like whatever. It's good enough. Like the show is very overt, but this rewatch I'm just appreciating the quiet Zuko moments more. I do think like I think at the time I was like this I'm expecting so much more from Zuko. This quiet stuff is not what I'm wanting. It doesn't hold up. But now it's like I really like the I don't know if I'd say subtleness because it's clear what the show is doing, but I like the quiet Zuko contemplation and decisions, and now he's acting on it in this episode. So that's kind of the biggest change for me from before. Part two, I think it's really good, but mostly just the Zuko Ozai face off. I feel like is the biggest. Other than that, I don't know if anything's super iconic. Right? Like there's tons of memorable lines and stuff from both parts of the episode, but in terms of like what's like truly great from part two, I think it's the Zuko Ozai face off. The Azula stuff is like fun, but I don't know if it's
Right.
the best in the show. I think it's and to be honest, it felt like a little bit of a repeat from the book two finale with Dai Li there. But
I forgot they were there, and then I was mad all over again. I was like,
I know.
go away. She's such a cheater. It's so annoying.
And I just continue to question the logic of the Dai Li following Azula. I think it's one of like
Like, how are you going to win?
some stuff you just
Like,
have to
how do you
accept
get
in
out
this
of this?
show, but like in any
Yeah.
show, but like what the Dai Li following Azula Coco, I ranted about this in the book two finale podcast, the rewatch one. They follow her in like one scene. They like betraying their nation to let the Fire Nation in. That I mean that happens at the beginning of book two. Okay, that's already big logic like leap. Why are they doing that? And now they just leave their home nation to follow Azula blindly into the Fire Nation. I don't really get it. And I don't think the show tries to convince you of that. But it doesn't matter that
What
much.
do they get out of it? Like, is she paying them? Is it because they don't want them? They don't want her to kill
They
them?
just
Like,
they just follow her, but it's the show
she's
doesn't
she's
really.
just intimidating. That's all.
Yeah, that's the only thing
which
they
is like,
really said.
obviously, you only realize this now because like we're adults. Because like, when you watch it as a child, everything is like the same. Because you're like, yeah, that makes sense. Because like when it's I guess one of the ways is like, that's a 14-year-old girl. Y'all are terrified of a 14-year-old girl. Now,
Right. This is the aspect of the series where
now is
Azula
she
being
terrified?
14 doesn't
Yeah,
work. Yeah, it's like
right.
we even at the time we commented Azula's not 14. It doesn't make sense. But this is the aspect of Diley following her that really doesn't work.
Yeah. Like it's
Um,
like what? Like, when you're 14 and you're watching this, you're like, okay. But now it's
yeah,
like, okay, you were like, really?
I
Like,
agree. Yeah, I agree.
And I
Uh,
guess to be fair to
wild.
the Daily, like if they're in this situation where they've like let the Fire Nation into the capital, and they've taken over, now you have this crazy scary ruler who's like, hey, you two, you're coming with me. We're gonna go on a field trip. It's like, okay,
Sure.
right.
I
It's like
guess
if
we're
they
gonna go.
don't listen to her, is she gonna like dump me in the ocean? Like,
Given that they
fair.
already did all the other stuff, yeah, like there's some logic to like, yeah, once you're
That's
already
true.
so
That
committed,
also,
then sure.
also like they also kind of had already betrayed their nation.
Yeah, well, the biggest thing is they aligning with Azula and like for
Yeah,
Long Fang, you could debate that, but like letting the Fire Nation in, like it just escalates so fast, and they don't show any of it. Anyway,
Right.
it's just kind of
yeah.
in flashback. I have in my notes, where is Suki? That's a big moment in the episode. Who cares? I don't care where Suki is, but lol. But it's kind of true. I still don't think that I think the show still makes a bigger, like that's supposed to be one of the biggest moments of one of the biggest episodes of the show, and it's like, where is Suki? Like honestly, I don't think it's deserved. It's like maybe it's my Suki hate still coming out,
I
but
agree with you. Like, and it's not even like I hate Suki. It's just like
she's
you
fine.
didn't make me care
She's been
enough.
in 2 or 3 episodes. Like it's honestly, I agree. The
Also,
show
I'm
doesn't make you care enough.
sorry. Sokka is fickle.
Oh, is this a anti Sakasuki take?
Yes.
Okay. Uh we could get more into that. There'll be more of that to come in Boiling Rock too. But so the aspect I didn't like the most of this episode, part two. By the way, it's great. It's one of the great episodes of the show, but I'm building up to a conclusion. The Katara staying behind with her dad. I'm just like, wow, considering I've been commenting over and over again in Eren Ha's episodes, Katara gets sidelined or plays emotional support. I didn't remember that she was sidelined in the invasion, but
Yeah.
oh my goodness, like
It's also
this one wasn't good.
it's so jarring, especially because of everything she does in part one.
Yeah, and then to be fair, she gets to do stuff at the very end, but why it's a very arbitrary decision that Sokka, Toph, and Aang go after the Fire Lord. Katara stays with her dad.
It was really strange. Like Sokka didn't need to be there. Like it's
You could
really
trade Sokka
weird.
and Katara. Katara's
Yeah.
like healing him, sure, but they probably should have brought another healer, but I guess there's not a lot available. But
There's not a lot available.
they didn't they should have went to the Northern Water Tribe and brought people for the invasion force.
I agree. That
But
was yes.
anyway, it's in isolation. This is like maybe annoying but not terrible. But it's just over and over in Eren episodes, just sidelining Katara. So this is kind of the nail in the coffin on the trend. I didn't even remember this one. So overall, I would say for me, because of that, and because of again only the Zuko stuff was like super iconic. Although it is one of the best scenes of the show. I dropped this out of my top tier of Avatar episodes, and this is the only, which to be fair, it's still in like the second best tier, which is incredible. No one cares about my rankings, but the point is that this is the only formerly top tier episode ranked for me that I have dropped out of the top tier, is the part two of Day of Black Sun. Again, not it's still a great episode, but it I guess that my point being is maybe because of the hype of watching it without that, and it's like, okay, I know this is like an anticlimax. Maybe it plays a little less well overall, and I just am not as into like all the invasion fighting stuff, but it is well done. But a lot of that's in part one, I feel like. Um, but yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think of that? For me, this episode maybe more very very good, not truly great.
But it's also a hard thing when you have a two-parter.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's the
true.
thing. Honestly, all the interesting like invasion bits happen in the first half. Like we get the subs, we get the Gate of Azulon, we get the
Except the
subs.
invasion glasses. That's in part two. That's
Yes,
a good one.
yes, and we get the tanks. Like those are all the fun bits that are in. Like that's all in the first part. So by the time you're in the second bit, you're like, okay, it's a trap, and like we all know they're just marching up there for no reason. Like they're all gonna go to jail. Like it just kind of starts to like it's just slowly spinning like
Yeah, well,
it's
okay,
winding
that
down.
was my first question here. That's what you're talking about, Delaney. How does the fake finale play in retrospect? Like, this is kind of a classic move, is to have a
Right.
finale before have like a climax before the climax, and Avatar does its version. So I get that. My answer was, I feel like it's without the hype of it at the time, because this was a huge episode while we were it's huge 2 episodes while we were watching. I do feel like it's a little of an anticlimax, but it's supposed to be an anticlimax. So it's kind of interesting because it is
I
supposed
think
to play as that.
I'm not sure how I feel about the choice to make it clear to the viewer that Azula has known. So, because my thing is, I think it would have played a little bit better if we didn't know Azula knew.
They try to do it. They try to have. This is what I was referring to before. They try to have it both ways, because they
Yes.
show us in the book 2 finale that Azula knows, but they don't mention it in book 3 until now. So
Right.
is that right? Is I don't think she mentioned it in the first episode, but I could be wrong. At the very least, it's not like they don't like
No,
advertise like this.
she doesn't mention the invasion, but it's she knows the Avatar's alive.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the invasion. There's an invasion force coming, right? Like, that's the key. But
Right.
so they could just say, okay, like they could have a scene in last episode in episode 9, wide open for scenes of like, okay, here's how we're preparing for their invasion. Here's how we're going to trick them, and so it's kind of plays out like that. But it kind of plays as a surprise, and yet they revealed the information before, so it does. It's weirdly both in terms of their
Yeah.
intention. Yeah, so it's an interesting dynamic.
I think it doesn't I think especially because of that on rewatch it just doesn't work. Like it like the and granted that's kind of like the which and of course, in general, like they don't make TV with the intention of rewatching it. But at the same time, it's like it's hard not to feel like, especially on this rewatch for me, there's all this build up to the invasion, and I don't think it hits what it I don't it to me it doesn't reach what it felt like it was supposed to. Granted, this also could be my bias because I love the finale. Like I absolutely adore the finale. And like to me, the finale hits like all my notes. And we'll see what happens on rewatch and how I'll feel about it.
Well, to some extent, when people talk about Avatar, they talk about the series finale and they don't talk about Day of Black Sun. I don't know. I don't know if
Right.
you guys have found that to be true, but the legacy of Day of Black Sun. It's interesting. I don't know. Do people rate these as some of the top episodes of the show? I don't necessarily see it up there with the finales and everything. Jeff, what do you think? The
It's really
legacy of Day of Black Sun, rewatching it, the anticlimax of it. What do you think of all that?
Um, well, I do not recall on first watch being bothered by like the switcheroo of like, wait, I thought she already knew about it, but then they didn't mention it. I think they like having half the season between the two with no mentions. I think it just dropped out of my mind. I was like, so
Yeah.
I think I was appropriately surprised. Like, they knew it was happening. Okay, I forgot about that. But I do see on rewatch it could have been done a little bit. They could have done more interesting things.
It's kind of like it's supposed to be a surprise. So, well, I mean, it's not like that's a bad thing that when the surprise isn't there, it plays differently. Like Delaney's saying, like the intention is the first watch of the episode. But yeah, it is kind of interesting that it is kind of supposed to be a surprise, especially when we're a kid. I didn't hear us in the podcast talking about like, oh, the invasion, it's gonna fail because Azula knows. Like, I don't. Maybe there's like a small amount of talk of that, but I don't think we were anticipating like it's all a trap. Like, that wasn't really like what the discourse was at the time, I believe.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't know. The point not being that these are like bad or anything. It's just like we're trying to capture the different experience of the rewatch and everything. Um, but yeah, I want to. What do you guys think? Is Day of Black Sun from listeners? What's your? Did you think of these as some of the best episodes of the show? I don't know. It's still like in my top 20. Part 2 will still be in there, and like, if you're gonna rank them together, like, it probably makes more sense. But it's still like a top third Avatar episode, right? But yeah, I didn't remember this dynamic of like they didn't mention it, but Azula knows it. It's probably one of the more interesting things of it. But we're kind of just in their how about this? We're just in their perspective of the invasion force, right? And so we get to see
Mhm.
their perspective, and then because we don't see like I said, we don't see Azula preparing. We just see Zuko's actions, and he's kind of divorced himself from what's happening. So, although Zuko in his own way was preparing for the Day of Black Sun, um, so they just kind of the decision to firmly put us in the eyes of Aang and the invasion force. I think it's overall successful, right? But it's one that relies a lot on that first viewing experience. I guess I would say in conclusion.
I'm binge watching Andor recently and really digging the view from the other side. Like here we're like comparing this to Avatar. These episodes we're seeing it from the perspective of the heroes, and oh no, there's been a switcheroo. But with Andor, and I'm sure many others, but just Andor is fresh in my mind. Like you see some really compelling and fun perspectives from the bad guys and how they are, like how the good guys think they're gonna to win the day, but the bad guys are like 3 steps ahead of them. It's fun.
Nice. Yeah. It's interesting because when you think of Avatar, you think of a lot of Azula and Zuko and like perspective stuff, but like ultimately Zuko's stuff is maybe that was more books 1 and 2. Here, Zuko's clearly on the like turn, gonna change sides trajectory, and we don't necessarily see a lot of the outside of the beach, a lot of the Azula and Ozai. We never see Ozai POV. This is a decision I've heard Mike and Brian talk a lot about, not showing. I mentioned this, not showing Ozai until book 3, not have and going along with that, not a lot of Ozai perspective. So yeah, that is interesting. I'm also interested to rewatch Korra and how much of the villain's POV we get there. I mean, I think there's more of a Mon, so that'll be interesting. Okay, well, how about Zuko facing off against Ozai? This first half Zuko arc culminating.
That was one of the highlights of the entire episode for me.
Is it
not
is it
the whole
just
like
the lightning redirecting, or is it
just
like
lightning,
the whole
just
face
lightning.
off?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
It's the lightning reader.
I mean, it's when I think top Avatar scenes, I think Zuko redirecting Ozai. It's up
yeah.
there for sure. I think it played just as well as I remembered. It's just beautiful and exciting, and
Like, oh, this guy's powerful. Okay.
yeah, the start of Ozai, yeah, Ozai's power. And again, they don't like remind you of Zuko being able to redirect lightning. In fact, it's only from one episode. But yeah, I think it all plays tremendously well. But honestly, the part I didn't remember was the whole Zuko's like, "You're gonna sit down and listen to me. Here's all my feelings." And then we have a
Yeah.
whole here's everything about Ursa too. So there's more than I remembered, but I was loving all of it. Delaney, what do you think?
I liked it, but it's also hard not to watch it and be like, LOL. Like, yeah, because Ozai's right. It's like, yeah, you're talking all this stuff because I can't burn you right now. Like,
Do you think it was
it's hard.
cowardly of Zuko?
Cowardly of Zuko. I mean, it was definitely like it was smart to do.
Absolutely. Like,
At the same time, like it's also one of those things. Like Zuko didn't have to tell his dad; he could have just left. But it was important for Zuko to tell him, which I can relate as someone who can't let anything go. So like, Izuko needed to say his piece, so then he bounced. It was great. Incredible power move. But also it's also like, LOL, this is really funny. Like he's like, no, I'm gonna tell you what's going on and I'm gonna have my swords out. Like it's like it's funny, but like they do like unintentionally funny. But it does work and it plays well. And I do think it's important for it to all get out there. Because like you said, they do a lot of quiet stuff with Zuko. And
Yeah.
so, especially because this is a big deal, this is the moment Zuko is leaving, like, and he is chasing the Avatar, but not the way he has. Which again, that is I really like that scene. It's such a good parallel, like when they show them flying away on Appa, and then you see his airship.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a great point about this in comparison to the quiet Zuko stuff, because a lot of Zuko recently is contemplative quietness. A lot of it from the first few seasons, honestly, is him just being very contemplative, and then just seeing him overtly say how he feels is very satisfying. So I
Also,
think they built. Go ahead.
well, I think it. So and because I didn't remember this, it made me think to back, when at the end when he's Fire Lord, I think it ties in really well because Zuko does lead, he will lead the country in the right direction, which I think is really like, so I think that's really interesting is, and I think something that we don't necessarily explore enough in the show is during Zuko's banishment and how he comes to understand the world, and like everything he's been told is a lie, and kind of this like unraveling. Like, because what's interesting too, because they do this with Shira, because Adora grows up in the Horde, and then she's all the stuff. So, which I think they ultimately do a better job in Shira than we do here about the unraveling of like your indoctrination, and like the reality of what's actually going on. And again, Avatar had a lot more to juggle than Shira,
Yeah,
but
it's a good point. That stuck out to me too, Delaney. Zuko says it's a lie that the war is sharing greatness with the rest of the world. The world is terrified of us. They hate us, and we deserve it. We don't really see Zuko overtly come to this conclusion.
right,
But I think it is so. I think you could argue there should have been more build up. But like we see books 1 and 2 are like entirely about this, right? Like if you just like look at Zuko's journey, like him realizing this through Iroh, then I mean his experiences blending in and embossing Say, I think are key. He has all the evidence in front of him. Him and Zuko alone. I mean, you can look at this and then just like see his journey kind of building up to this moment. I do think Avatar, I you could argue, is at its best when it's most at its most subtle, and then it can be overt in the most important moment, like this Zuko speech. I think Zuko's arc, outside of some key scenes, is pretty subtle, and to see him come to this conclusion, I don't know. I think it's well done. It certainly could have been a bigger part of the series. That line really stuck out to me. The line Zuko says, "It's the era of fear in the world, and if we don't want the world to destroy itself, we need to replace it with an era of peace and kindness." Um, I honestly, one of my biggest takeaways this rewatch, I didn't remember Avatar is just so blunt at times. Like it's like Zuko just like
yes,
says, he's and then the show, like to be fair, Ozai calls him out on it, and he's like, "Your uncle's gotten into," and Zuko says, "Yes, he has," and he smiles, and that's a great moment. Um, but just the bluntness of Avatar, it very much says its themes like constantly. But and I think it's a good point that we're talking about, like because of a lot of the quiet contemplativeness of the build up here, it was done very well building up. So that's why I think in large part this works so well with Zuko Ozai here saying things very blatantly. I mean, he literally says you challenged a 13-year-old boy to an Agni. It was cruel and it was wrong. Like the show
yep.
is saying what it means, like very clearly. Like it's the type of thing in where if a modern show like has lines like this, I think it's criticized. Because like you shouldn't say your discoursey things as part
Which
of the
is
dialogue, right?
which is interesting, because media literacy is like -5 now.
Yeah, and maybe one of the reasons Avatar is so widely accessible and great is just like accepted is because it's pretty clear with what it has to say. Like there's
Well, it's
no
like Steven Universe. Steven Universe, I think, got a lot of flack for and then they also lampoon it itself in the show, like with with Sunstone, and like the PSA ness. But it's also like we have to, because oh my god.
and I personally, I mean, I'm conditioned from shows like Avatar and Steven Universe, but I think you should be blunt with your themes. I think like for the things that matter most, make them clear so it comes across to the audience. But people don't think of Avatar as very blunt. I'm telling you, like this rewatch, like it's not just shows like Steven Universe. Like Avatar maybe does a better job of handling the bluntness. I don't know. I think it's more just in theme, like the aesthetic of it works better maybe for some people, but like it is this Zuko speech is very overt. And then he says again, continuing, I'm gonna free Iroh. He's been a real father to me. Like Zuko's just saying all of the past few seasons in
All
this
the
to
things.
uh tea and failure, says Ozai. I'm gonna join the Avatar and I'm gonna help him defeat you, says Zuko again.
So good. It's great.
I would have liked to. This is one where I would have liked more maybe overt in how he came to the conclusion of specifically joining the Avatar. It's because it
Which
kind of just comes out at here.
right, because Iroh, I think, doesn't tell him this, but like hints at it throughout the show. Like,
Yes,
talking to like like your destinies are intertwined. Like there's all this
the
stuff, and then
Destinies thing. Yeah.
yeah, I want to like. So it would be helpful, Zuko. Like it's cool that you figured out that like you were like, yeah, this isn't what I wanted. But like, when were you were like, I'm gonna help the Avatar? Like when did you get to that point?
This is the trade-off for the quietness of half of his stuff this season is we don't get to know this. And to be fair, who would he have told? Because he could have told May, but that's kind of what part one is about. He decided not to tell May until the very end that he's leaving. Um, but yeah, we don't get to see this. I don't think we. I mean, I don't remember large swaths of some of these more random episodes coming up, but I don't think he tells the group when he decided this. But I don't remember. Maybe there'll be some stuff coming up that explains it. I don't know.
Granted, he spends a
But
lot of time trying to make sure Qatar doesn't kill him, so that's like
it's kind of
he's a
top
little
priority.
occupied.
I'm excited for that.
It's the
But yeah,
best. It's the best.
Ozai, yeah, and then Ozai, you should do it now. Taking you down is the Avatar's destiny. So
This
yeah,
part, like, I feel like it contrasted, like both here and with Azula, they're like baiting the other guys, like
Yes.
and the Avatar in his group fell for the bait, and Zuko did not.
Well, he does kind of fall for it though
He
because he
does,
sticks
and
around
then
for
that
Ursa.
annoys me so much when it happens. I'm like, you should just go. But I'm wondering if Zuko would have gone after Ozai if they wouldn't have pushed a button and like dumped molten lava on him or something.
Right. No, my read is that it is a trap, and he like Ozai has a sword behind him or something, right? Like like Azula had the dagger when Sokka charged at him. Like Ozai was
Mm-hmm.
ready for him if he came at him. That's my read on it. But it's kind of interesting that it's ambiguous. That's a good point that they're both baiting him. But yeah, Zuko largely avoids it, except he stays to hear about Ursa. But he's prepared for when the fire's back because he has the redirection that
Mm-hmm.
Ozai doesn't know about. So
I do
ultimately,
love the line, "Ooh, the fire's back on." Like I like
Yes,
that.
I
yeah.
love that.
Oh, sounds like the firebending's back on, says Azula. Yeah, that was
It's a great,
hilarious.
great line.
Azula is very funny. This
Absolutely.
episode.
Or it's like, where they were like, just ignore it. Or she's like, "What?" I'm like, Am I not enough for you?" Like, it's really funny. She
Yeah,
has
she
some
says
really
that.
funny lines.
Sokka says Azula's not trying to win. Azula says, "Not true. I'm giving it my all."
Yeah, no,
And
there's and like when she's lying to Toph, and Toph's like, "Oh
yeah,
my
Yes,
god!"
iconic.
Like it's
the
so good.
400-foot tall purple platypus bear. That's an iconic line for sure, and that's really funny. So, yeah,
Her whole
Azula
fight,
very funny.
yeah, like her whole fight when she has no bending and is still like wiping the floor with him, that was also really cool.
She's just being an absolute. Oh my god! It's like when I'm fighting people in Fortnite who just keep jumping around. Like I was getting frustrated just watching it. Like I was like,
It's
"Oh
honestly,
my god!"
it's the Aang tactic, like for
Mm-hmm.
It's
to see
great. And
Azula
I'm like,
utilize it.
it's also just absurd. Like it's just so like she's so annoying. And the Dailir there, like so irritating.
Azula also says to Toph, and since you can't see, I should tell you I'm rolling my eyes. And then
Also good.
Toph says, "I'll roll your whole head." Um,
Tanya really liked that bit. She was like, she's like, wow, this show is so inclusive. Like she thought it was funny.
well, our discourse of the Toph blindness is that if it's kind of her making jokes for herself, it's good. If it's other people making jokes at her expense, that's not so good. So this is a rare instance, but there haven't been many of someone else making a joke
Right.
at her expense. But this is from a villain, and it's clear that like she's being mean. So I think the show is
Also,
aware that this is mean.
it is unfortunately really funny. And Toph also
It's
immediately
funny
is
in a
like,
wrong way. It's clear though
yes.
that it's
And then
there's a passion.
immediately Toph's like, I'm gonna end you. Like it's
Yeah,
great.
yeah. And it's yeah, Toph never backs down from it. But yeah, I mean it's funny, but also not keeping in mind that Azula, the show keeps you in mind that Azula is kind of bad. And also maybe she also like pulls a dagger out for Sokka,
And
and
Toph's like, oh my god. And Toph's like
yeah,
just slams her into the wall.
yeah. And then we get the Where is Suki? Anyway, back to the that was our Azula interlude. Back to the Zuko scene. Yeah, don't you want to know what happened to your mother? I forgot about that. That's
I rolled my eyes. I was just like, oh.
This? I guess this is more frustrating in retrospect, knowing we don't get to see Ursa until the comics. But
And
I
then
think
like,
at
and
the
also what happens in the comic, it's so annoying. And then also it's so funny because Ozai's like, yeah, so I was totally gonna kill you, and your mom was like, no, like really, like that's like, what are we supposed to get out of this story?
well, the thing is about everyone's frustrated that this is one of the big things coming out of Avatar is, oh, it's so good, except they didn't. What happened to Ursa? So that's like the normie talking point about Avatar. We were probably like that at the beginning. But the thing is they this scene is the conclusion to what happened to Ursa because Ozai just tells him everything. I don't. I would argue we don't get any much of anything out of the comic that we don't get from this scene. Like we learn basically the high level of the story of what happened, and Ursa's still alive, perhaps. Like there you go, she's still alive. She's banished. She's out there somewhere, and she killed Azulon, made a deal with those out of spare Zuko. Like we figure out what happens. Like I think from the show's perspective, this was the explanation without them wanting to be super overt about it. So I don't think they really intended. Now, Mike and Brian might have said since then, like, oh, we would have loved to have fit in some more with Ursa, but I feel like this is supposed to be kind of the conclusion to Zuko alone here. Does it? I don't. Did that play well? At the time, I think we were not satisfied with that. I would say most people probably are not maybe buying what I'm
I
saying, listening to
I
it.
think I think the difference is like, if this was it, cool. The problem is the finale.
Okay, well, I need to rewatch and so we'll follow up in the finale. I'll follow up in the finale for sure.
And I guess my
Um,
complaint is like, obviously the comic, we brush over this, and then my issue is like the ultimate conclusion to the story is terrible.
Look, okay, you can listen to our Past from the Spirit World podcast on the search. Is that it? And I think we're more positive on it than Delaney's being, but at the time, I still liked seeing what happened. Like Ursa in the present, I still liked seeing it. That being said, I kind of just would have rather the show like stuck to its guns and just like not followed up on it. Like I think it's kind of bold to just put it out there like Ozai is here, and then just we're just not going to show you Ursa. Like some things you don't show and you end the show. Like I kind of would have liked if they didn't. That being said, there was such a fan clamoring for it. Like this was like
And
one of the
again,
biggest
it's
things
because
coming
of
out
what
of the
they did in
show.
the finale. It's their
Okay,
own
okay, we'll
fault.
get to it. Okay, I'll get to it. I've forgotten, but we'll see. So I'll in terms of the rewatch, where we're at now with Ursa, I'm loving, but I
Yeah, it's
forgot.
fine. Like they say, yeah, it's fine. Like this is completely fine. Like it makes sense, and it's like a parallel to Zuko's story. Completely makes sense. It's fine.
She's still alive, perhaps. Like such a good, classic
Yeah,
villain, perhaps.
I loved Mark Hamill's work in this episode.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It's
funny that he's Ozai. It's hilarious.
perhaps, and then don't you want to know what happened to
What
your
happened
mother?
to
That's like
your
such an
mother?
iconic line read.
Like,
That would be
yes.
probably my top 10 Avatar line reads. And there's so many good ones, but yeah, no, he's incredible here.
Now I
Um,
realize that banishment is far too
oh yeah,
merciful.
Yeah. Like, oh my
that's so
god.
good too. You're right. That's really good
He's
too.
like, yeah. He's like, yeah. He's like, you're so dramatic. And then just blast him. It's so good.
He's just trying to kill it. Like it's kind of it really is shocking. Like he's just trying to kill his child. It's so blatant. Oh my goodness.
Well, he admitted
Um,
to him he was going to kill him when he was a baby. Like at this point, it's like whatever.
it's true. He did say I was gonna follow through on it. He
He
did
was
say
like, "Yeah,
that.
I was totally going to kill you. Like my dad told me to do it. Like
I mean, it's
literally.
kind
Like
of
it's
like I mean, it's terrible then, but like to some extent, there were circumstances outside of his control. There was like someone pressuring him. Here, it's like all him. Like this is just now
true.
it's all
You're
him
right.
being
You're right.
terrible.
You're right.
It's still
And I
terrible.
guess,
I'm not making an
yeah,
excuse, but like this is like even
correct.
worse
You're
now.
right. You are correct. But we shouldn't be surprised.
And it's kind of the introduction to Ozai's like ruthlessness. I mean, did we see much? I don't know if we saw
Also,
like much of it
kind
before here.
there's also foreshadowing to Azula becoming Fire Lord. She's on the throne.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, because she's the distraction. She's on the throne. That's true.
Also, it's funny
Um,
when she's leaving and she's like, "Yeah, Daddy's like down that way. Bye." It's really great.
yeah, yeah, no, that's a good one too. We're kind of convincing me to boost this episode back up. That's because the Zuko scene's so good, and the Zula stuff is really good. What else is
Unfortunately,
there?
Zula is deeply funny. Like it's just
Zula's very funny. The we talked about the glasses. Well, okay. Well, let's finish out part two, then we'll come back to the kiss. Um, and oh yeah, well, this action scene, Aang goes to battle the airships. We talked about the airships coming on, and the war balloons from Mechanist invention. Then Aang and Katara and Appa go to battle the airships. I don't have much to say, but I like this
I
action
was saying to
piece.
my wife, I was like boyfriend girlfriend things. Toph was earthbending and Tanya was like, I love her. And then and specifically in this, when Katara and Aang are doing the airships, Tanya's like, I love her about Katara. When the girls are bending, my wife's like, yes. Like
That should convince her to rewatch the show with you.
she will. It's one of those things, I have to sit her down and it has to be
Okay,
on and then
okay.
watch. It's the whole thing.
Yeah, Jeff.
We got through bits of book one.
This was one of my problems with the execution of this thing. They left the subs on the beach. They should have moved them underwater and then brought them back for evac.
That's true. They're subs. Why don't you just put them underwater?
Also, they're they just stand there and watch it. So like, obviously the airships are traveling quite quickly.
Is there a technical limitation with them? Not like they can't be underwater too long. Like probably not.
Well,
we don't know.
Not if they were.
That's what I realized. So this was the opinion I had when I first watched it. Like, why did they not have the subs underwater? Now in this watch, I realized, well, they do need air, and they need someone on the sub to bring them in, probably.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, a periscope with air pipe, maybe, I don't know, but
yeah.
Or they could have. I mean, they could have just created like an earth shell, like for while they were gone.
Considering they invented these subs, made them, and then invented ththese wild tanks that
yes, they're like centipedes.
They probably could have invented something better for this situation.
Right.
Absolutely. It seems like they didn't think this part of the plan through. That they're gonna be destroyed and trapped there.
But this kind of is so like the overall problem I have with this is basic, and I guess it's kind of relevant to current events. This is a regime change operation. And they did not.
This is what my speech is going to be about. Continue.
Dylan texted me this. God,
I didn't tell you what it was about, but okay, yeah. What's your?
I don't have to know what it's about.
What about the regime change?
Well, okay, if their plan is to, I don't see the lot. Like, okay, they're going to send in the Avatar to kill the.
Who are they replacing him with? Right? Is that
right?
Like that's what I was thinking. Much
like
current events, there's no succession plan here. Like, what are you doing?
Right. And whoever else is in this succession plan is going to be alive and is going to say, hey, military, go kill these guys who are like all bunched up.
Like in this instance, it would now let's follow this logically. Okay. We kill the Fire Lord without knowing what is going on. Zuko is then Fire Lord.
Mm-hmm. And for all they know, he's still bad.
Yes. Also, presumably, like Zuko and Azula probably have a fight, and like Azula would murder Zuko, and then Azula would be Fire Lord.
We're kind of robbed of the House of the Dragon-esque Zuko Azula War of Succession Civil War, which I guess is kind of just the Agni guy in the finale.
Now, if Azula is killed, at that point we would assume. So that's the thing. And I read a whole article about this, and like it's so annoying. I'm just so irritated by current world events. Then at that point, so presumably there maybe is so I'm gonna say in Game of Thrones or in like a different fantasy, like generally speaking, there would then be further succession. As we understand the Fire Nation, it would end with Azula, but there might be cadet families, like maybe May's family, or there would maybe be okay, who is the person who is next related to
probably Iroh if he was not disenfranchised.
Right, it wasn't in jail, and so it wouldn't be. Well, so he would be locked out. It wouldn't be Iroh. So at that point, it's it would be over probably, but then it wouldn't really be because there's cadets, and then also we would probably then have the generals, and it would be Zhao if he wasn't dead, or I'm sorry, wandering
Spirit World. Excuse you.
The Spirit World. Yes.
Yeah. But no, but yeah, Jeff's point. Other than like who's the regime change, it's like okay, we kill the fire, then what? Like even if it goes according to
That's
plan,
it.
they didn't know what they were doing. Yeah, I agree.
Right.
Also, that's the whole. Also, that's like the whole show. Like they're like, we have to defeat the Fire Lord by Summer's End. Okay, and then what?
Yeah.
That's it.
Uh,
And that's just still, and everything works out because Zuko has a change of heart.
they are kind. It's a good point. They're kind of dependent on someone in a position to rule the fire, put the Fire Nation in a good direction, having a change of heart. Otherwise, they would have kind of
Like
been
if
screwed here.
if Zuko didn't do that, it would be like we would just have like presumably if Zuko like didn't have a soul or whatever, he would like it would then be it'd be Fire Lord Zuko. Even if Zuko was bad, him and Azula would like fight to the death because Azula would be
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I mean they have Iroh too, which I guess the White Lotus knows about the whole time, but that would take some finagling. Anyway, let me say my Jeff
Yes,
brought the
do.
regime change up already. Okay, so for context, when you're listening to in the future, it's March 1st, 2026. So we're referencing the U.S. bombing Iran, which we don't know what that's going to be called in the future when you hear this. Will this be known as a war? I don't know. I was struck when I heard the president say that the goal is regime change. So Jeff already kind of spoiled this, but isn't the invasion force trying to enact regime change on Ozai in this finale? They going into a sovereign country and trying to kill their leader, right? Like this is like it's just such an interesting time to be talking about Day of Black Sun. And I have a point here, but the point isn't necessarily like are their actions in the context of the Avatar world good or bad? Like, is them trying to enact regime change good? But I do think you could make an argument that they're going about this in like the wrong way. Um,
we do
you
need
know,
to have
and
the important context that this is also we have been the Hundred Years' War. The Fire Nation
right. Yes.
has
So there's a
been
context
waging
of
worldwide
the
war.
Avatar world, yes. And in the book three finale, it ends up being an active aggression by the Fire Nation, and them countering that aggression, which is not as much of what they're doing here. They're being the aggressors here. That being
Yeah,
said, you could
completely
argue the Fire
different.
Nation's still the aggressor in the context of the current war. Anyway, I think my point here is that like the media, like TV shows and movies like Avatar, showing regime change like this like as a good thing that heroes do. I think it like normalizes it for those in America and in the West, and that maybe leads people to think of this as like an acceptable option for when America and other countries could do this. Now the context is completely different from the Avatar world, but even if they're in the right in doing this in Avatar, them going about it in this way of again invading a sovereign country with the goal of killing their leader and not like talking about it and talking about is this is normally bad but justified in this case, or should we do this, should we not do this? They just do it. This is like seen as righteous by the show, and millions of children watch this and take away that this is like a righteous action. I can understand from my perspective now in my 30s that I can understand more of why maybe people in America think the way they do. Even progressive shows like Avatar show tactics like this as a good thing. Again, context is completely different, but I think that's interesting to think about.
Well, especially
Um,
these kinds of stories, I think, are unique to the American consciousness, and especially if we a natural comparison would be comic books, and our comic book industry was a hero defeating the villain, and it's always like this all-consuming villain, like it's very much good versus bad, and our comic book industry was very much spun out of the end of World War One, and then and also World War Two. Like Captain America, like punches Hitler. Like these are these stories that are very much ingrained in American consciousness and the American hero, and like and it's and in uh, Captain America and Red Skull, who is just literally a Nazi. Um, So it's very much this. I don't like. Obviously, we do cover shows that aren't American, like Ladybug. but like these kind, which is a superhero show, and like superheroes aren't unique to America, but these kinds of stories I think are, and it's very much that. And we're, as the country, the only country that does this.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a very American, as again, as much as Avatar is progressive, it's a very American perspective show, and it's still playing within the framework of like of like a Western imperialist nation, which is interesting because I also think Day of Black Sun has active anti-imperialist messaging, which we just talked about with the Zuko speech. The rest of the world has terrified us. We said we're sharing the greatness with the world, literally just explaining why imperialism is wrong, is what Zuko's doing there. And it's interesting that a show that is like clearly has such overall anti-imperialist message, I think is not aware that it is playing within an imperialist framework, is my political analysis in 2026. I think Brian specifically and Mike, but I know Brian's politics more, would not do an episode like this now. I think that this is a product of this show being made in 2006, 2007 when these episodes are being made. I don't think Korra has an equivalent of this, I believe. So I think that their perspective maybe evolves. Again, I'm not saying that what they're doing in the invasion is wrong in the context of Avatar. I just think that it's like short sighted in terms of what they're communicating to their audience, I guess is my overall perspective.
Korra is interesting too because Korra also explores the ramifications of everything that happens in Avatar, like the Republic City, and ultimately like what becomes of the Fire Nation colonies that are in the Earth Kingdom, which is something Avatar I think, which consistently like we address it, but not in the way
Korra is an indictment on what Mike and Brian did in Avatar. They're like, it's an indictment on their own storytelling. Absolutely.
Which I think is another reason why Aang can come across very poorly in Korra, and which is interesting for them to they don't villainize Aang, but they definitely don't paint him always in the best light, which is interesting to do to your own character, and then also a character we all revere so much, and then we definitely have that kind of negative reaction in watching in Korra, and it'll be interesting to see in the movie that's coming out, and then in
very interesting from this perspective. Very interesting to see them follow up on Aang's story, considering some aspects of Avatar are very like mid to the early aughts.
And then also there is also this literally was also happening in when Avatar was being made. We were also beginning. We were going to war in Iraq.
Last thing to say about this is as much as I'm like shows like this are kind of like normalizing regime change in the minds of Americans. At the time, the Iraq War was initially very popular, although quickly the tide turned on that. Whereas, thankfully, the current, my perspective, the current events in Iran are actually very unpopular. So despite the fact that like maybe regime change, this concept isn't as normalized now in Americans' minds because people aren't as accepting of this type of intervention, I think, as beforehand, despite kind of what the government is doing.
I'm thinking about this. Like when is it good or bad to do regime change? I have not thought about this as much as either of you, but I'm just like there are examples in popular media where I think I don't know if we'd say it's like that one's okay. Like for example, Star Wars Episode 3 taking out Palpatine, that is a regime change. I think that's
right.
Okay though because like it's the evilness is concentrated in the person, and the theory is that you take out the person and the regime will become better, even though he was like elected and everything.
Which that is also interesting too, because we also deal with that in Star Wars, and ultimately in the following 3 movies, how that ultimately it didn't matter. We had a new empire, and it just kept going.
So then, I guess in this context, like maybe we're seeing more of it as no, this is not just a uniquely bad guy at the top. The whole structure is the Fire Nation, and I don't know.
I think you're right, Jeff. Even this circumstance that is presented in the show, though, I think is like uniquely. It's clear who's evil. It's like there's 100-year like war, and the Fire Lords have been so evil, and it's like never this kind of clear cut in the real world. And so you present this kind of
Right.
despite despite any sort of propaganda that we have that we're grown up with in the West. But like you present a story that's clear cut like this, and it makes people think it's like that in the circumstance. Otherwise, when there's kind of no nuance, no commentary on whether it's right or wrong. But also in the logic of the show, it's like, yeah, like, okay, as we talked about, who else in there? Like, it's not like this was necessarily an effective plan. Anyway, but yeah, Delaney, did you follow up?
Well, it's kind of like a Mon in book one of Korra. And kind of what, kind of like, so you have a cult, like to have a cult of personality, and it is so we kind of get into that, and there is a little bit of like Amon. It's very much cult personality. Like take out Amon, it's over, which is ultimately what Karlach does. Which we do see some ramifications because he did begin a movement. Which that's a whole other thing we could get into. It's different. We have like it's the Fire Lord, and like and yeah, it's funny for a show about family and dynasties. We don't really get into it as much as we probably should, and like how that works. like, like all of this strife in Zuko's life is ultimately because of like there was a succession spat, and but then we tie in this plan of like, okay, well we just take out the Fire Lord, everything's great, and it's like that's not really how that works. But Ozai has certainly cultivated this sort of like this cult of personality, and and then granted, I also don't think we get into it as much. Like I think maybe they would if they had done a better job of like how much is the Fire Lord really revered? Like is he like towards the end he's like he goes like full nutso, right? Like he's
Where are
like
the
I'm the
opinion
Phoenix
polls
King.
of the Fire Nation, right? Like we don't really
Well,
know. It's true.
yeah, no, well, I meant like, that's the other thing which I wanted to bring up was that like, in addition to regime change, we're talking about a culture that is completely foreign to you. Like the Fire Nation operates very differently than the other nations. They are a literal island, like, and that is something, and that is another thing about Avatar. It's a travel log. We get to know all these nations and the cultures, and then we dabble in the Fire Nation. Obviously we're on the run, but it's a very different, like, that's the other thing, like for the Water Tribe and Earth Kingdom to then like it's different, like it's a culture that is completely alien to you, and like
Yeah.
and kind of what we're talking about is I think a failure to understand like why did this
They,
happen,
they
what happened.
Right, they don't know what's going on in the culture, and they're like just going in and deciding that their leader is gone, and presumably going to try to pick the new leader from the outside. Like it's something that should be
Well, it's like,
handled
and
in their own.
and like even if we assume there were guards down at the bottom poking people with their spears, but like when they announced Zuko's return, like it was like like everyone was like, "This is great! Our crown prince has returned! Like, woo, this is
It's
great."
interesting. Yeah, we see a lot in the first half of the Fire Nation culture, the first half of book three, but at the same time, we still don't know. Anyway, I think one thing you said, Delaney, that struck me, which is the message, the goal of Avatar is always like defeat the Fire Lord.
Defeat the Fire Lord. Yeah, that's
That's
it.
they say that so often, but like that's not really the goal. It's like you need to like it's Ozai isn't the one who started the war, and
Right.
if he were to die with if he were to just suddenly pass, the war would continue.
Yeah.
So it's not a very detailed. It's a very simplistic way of talking about kind of ramifications of like how to end the war, what the goal is. Obviously, it's like a kid show, and they're not really going to get into the details of
Right.
ending wars, starting like but it feels very silly. I think when you think about it in terms of the real world, that the whole goal is to like defeat Ozai and to put everything on Ozai. And I'm interested. I will keep this in mind rewatching the finale, how that goes kind of in the finale, as they do just kind of defeat Ozai and then everything's okay. So I'm
Well, it's
interested
kind
to
of like,
see. But
and they don't go over
also
it as
Azula is
much.
independently taken out.
Right.
But
And going off into the comics, it's like I wonder. So I've read some of the like immediate comics, and there's some later ones I still need to read because it's like, all right, we establish Republic City, we do all this. It's like the Fire Nation committed genocide and then like took over the rest of the world. Like, what's their Treaty of Versailles like? Like, like that's what I'm like.
honestly,
That's what I'm interested
you
in.
would
Like,
think this might be something that's on their minds given many recent events like in the movie, like this might be
right.
something they want to get into. Is that what the movie's about? How to handle? I mean, it's kind of like a
I would
depressing
love
topic.
that.
How to
It
handle the
is
remnants
deeply
of a
depressing.
genocidal nation. So,
Right.
probably that's not what the movie will be about. But
And
I
we
could
and
see
we
there being an
well,
undercurrent of that.
and honestly we kind of, I mean, obviously the Air Nation is extremely important in Korra, but like, I mean, to talk about Aang and Katara and how much we love them, and they are, they are the it couple, and but then also like the responsibility then of raising a family and of being, you're both benders, and then to have children and like
Yeah. Okay. I think it's we're
so much
getting into
stuff.
it and getting into another topic. But yeah, this is all very interesting. I think let's keep this in mind when we resume speculating about the finale when we finish
Also,
this
none of
rewatch. But
this is to
any
be flippant about current events. It's also just like it's too much. And it literally just happened. Yay!
I mean, we were like rewatching this, and then around stuff happened. It's like very striking
Yes.
to be at this place. Any last comments on this before we return to the actual episode? Okay,
It's
let's
deeply
let's let's.
depressing. That was it.
It's very depressing. People are going to
It's
be
deeply
surprised how much we talked about politics. I mean, we're talking about it in the context of Avatar. They leave. The adults stay behind as prisoners, and the kids leave.
also sad. Like, get on the lifeboats, guys.
Mhm.
I mentioned this. 14-year-old me mentions this on the podcast. Like they could just kill all of them and not take them prisoners. Like it's. I
Okay,
mean,
literally. Okay, literally. Like, you know what? Let's give some props to the Fire Nation, which, I don't know about their Geneva Conventions. I don't know. I mean, I assume not many, but like they could have just killed them all. Now, is the boiling rock great? No.
it's yeah.
Especially fire.
Compared to how real world nations operate, they were very
Okay.
humane in this
And
situation.
like
Yeah.
Ozai, did this whole speech where he was like, "I'm just gonna start killing people," and then so that that let's cool
Yeah.
beans. Thanks for not killing everybody.
We were kind of debating on the podcast tactically, should they keep them alive given the goal of Azula is like they'll be back, or should they not keep, like we're kind of debating it from that lens, which is, but anyway, I mean, it's never an option in the show like the Avatar. But Teo, the Duke, and Haru with goatee, which was what we called him at the time, but they go with them. I did not remember that Teo, the Duke, and Haru go with them, and they are part of the gang briefly. This is
I
part that
do
was
remember
buried in my
this.
mind. This is, I mean,
I
I
remember
remember it,
this.
but I buried this. I assumed
Yeah.
that
Oh,
they were
did you
not.
forget? Did you forget the number one reason people ship the Duke and Toph?
Yes, I think there's a scene coming up next episode if I remember. But it'll be a surprise. Okay. I
Did you do
assume they
you
don't.
do you know which scene I'm talking about that happened that we watched?
Oh, that we watched here.
Yeah.
Was it the vomit in the thing?
The
Yes, it was the
vomit in the hat.
vomit.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay,
Okay,
that was what
that
I was
was it.
thinking of. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's really nothing.
Amazing. It's
Um,
not. It's
yeah,
nothing, but it's why people ship.
I think I think this is like very silly. These characters who we don't really care about going with them. And I don't think they do much with them later, but we'll see.
Yeah, they don't. I don't. I'm like, I'm trying to remember. I'm like, what happens? When do we get rid of them? That makes me.
They
I don't mean it in a mean way, but at
they
some
run
point they
off
just go
and have an
away, right?
adventure every single time something interesting happens.
Like,
That sounds right.
ooh,
Azula says they'll be back. Aang says they'll be safe at the Western Air Temple. Zuko follows them on the balloon. Yeah.
Appa's call was very sad to me. He was like,
oh my god, it was
hmm.
so sad. It really. I kind of felt like crying at the end. It was so sad.
Sad. I think I hit everything from. Let's go back to the kiss to go back to a happier
Yeah, the
topic. We talked
important
about
bit.
it already, but I said how resonant the kiss is for me. The big debate is at the time was Katara's reaction to the kiss and what did it mean?
She's about
Did
it.
Katara like it?
Yes.
Did she not like it? And I had all this trauma that came to mind rewatching
All
it.
this trauma.
Trying to debate the Zutarians on what Katara
It's
looks
just so
she's
nice
surprised, she looks
to sit
away.
here and be like, "You lost." It's so nice.
It's nice to sit here and be like, you guys had children, so we know what happened. We knew the
Exactly.
outcome
It's so good.
of
Oh my
we
god, it
knew
was
the
always
outcome of
so.
this.
Oh my god, when we got the picture of their family, it's so funny when that's just a reply to anything Zacharian. It's so funny.
No, I forgot.
It's
I forgot about
so
that.
funny. Like
That's
Now,
the
am I a
reply.
horrible person for laughing? Maybe, but I also laugh at we're going to be popping the biggest bottles when Makora happens tomorrow, and I will laugh
Well,
about it every day
that's the
until I
ultimate.
die.
That's the ultimate
So
one.
funny.
Yeah, but look, for anyone who thinks we're mean when we bring up Zatara, like I'm trying to put it in the context of there was a lot of denial of like this Qatar reaction,
I
hotly debated, a lot
I
of
am
we had to go
9. I
through.
am like 12 years old, and I'm going to shut the TV off. Avatar finale. If Zatara
Yes,
happens, I am ready to turn the power button. Like
yes.
I'm ready. This was
Qatar. Okay,
serious business.
Qatar says we've been through so many things together. We've been through so much. You're not that little goofy kid I found in the iceberg anymore. I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm really proud of you. Everything will be different today. What if I don't come back? Aang says, don't say it. Of course she'll. And then he kisses her. And then Katara is surprised and closes her eyes. She looks away. And then she's like looking on, blushing at the end. And
She liked it. Case closed.
case closed. I mean, we know now.
So good.
But
Oh, also it's so funny because they're like 14 and like he might be 13 now. I think I can't
I
remember.
think he's supposed to be. Yeah, I think he's supposed to be
he's
13 at this
yeah, he's
point.
supposed to be 13 in book 3. I don't remember exactly what
Yeah.
it's, or maybe it was when he was passed out. Who knows? Oh, I
Mhm.
didn't talk about my favorite bit. It's where he shaves his head with the rock. Okay,
Yes.
love that. So important to me. But yeah, it's so great. So this entire scene is so great because then the whole time it's happening, I'm like, I need you guys to get away. They're about to kiss. Go away. Like I was like, shoo. And then like Aang blushes, and then Qatar blush. It's so good. Just and then he has to like lean up to kiss her. It's so good. It's just so good. And then he flies off. It's the best.
I think it's really good. I think the follow up, like is we'll see in the next few episodes them not following up on it, but I think this is I think the scene played really well for me. The like worst thing you can say about it is that it's like stereotypical or like contrite or whatever, that there's like what if I don't come back kiss before the final battle, but like this is one of the reasons why that's a trope. Like this scene is like one of the the
Also,
predecessors. So
literally, Aang could have died. Like that very much could have happened. Like he also literally died like 6 months ago, guys. Like cut them some slack.
it's warranted given the type of show Avatar is, and like I've been saying, Avatar is a very blunt show, and it's very blunt, like journey, epic journey type
Also,
show.
they
So
are
you should have this
13
scene.
and 14.
Yeah, it's I loved it. I'm not I wondered how I would react to this scene because I remember loving it, but there's some questionable stuff to come, which will be one of the most interesting things to revisit. But in terms of just
Oh,
this
it's gonna
scene, and
hurt.
I thought it was great, and I've thought all the Katang stuff in book 3 up to this point is incredible. So like they're
Call
like
back
perfect
to it
on.
a bit. And when they're flying, like when Aang's crying, and Katara's like looking at him.
Oh, and yeah, he's like
I think that's like
Katara like comforts him this
yeah,
episode
I
too
think
at the
that's like
end.
a
Yeah,
moment.
yeah. And in the part 2, yeah, and they fight
Yeah,
together in part 2. So
yeah.
I love, yeah, that was great too. I love all of it. So through 11 episodes, I think Katang's been incredible in book 3.
It's the best. Oh, and so when you're talking about like we'll get there, obviously. I wanted to touch on where for me the big emotional moment for me and for Katang is in the finale. Like that's like I could just watch it for like ever.
Yes.
I will cry like a baby. I do every time.
This kiss is great. The next kiss will be great. Also, the first kiss, well, the first 2 kisses in Cave of Two Lovers and the dream one, also great. So
So good. It's the forever girl. It's so
so
good.
blessed to get 4 kisses in some form or
Yes.
fashion.
Yes.
Should I assume they don't kiss in the play, right? In that scene that we're talking about, I don't think they do.
No, no. I
No,
think
they
Aang
should have.
like I think Aang tries and she's like, no.
Uh,
Yeah.
Worth it to go for it. Okay, we'll get. We're talking about it negatively, but I'm open to liking that scene. So I'm just putting it out there. I'm open to it.
I'm prepared to be so the problem with that episode. So I like there are TV shows that I can't watch and I don't it's a miracle I can watch Ladybug. It's because the secondhand embarrassment physically hurts me, which is why I almost have a heart attack whenever we watch Ladybug. And so like I'm curious like the Environment Players is like peak cringe secondhand embarrassment. And so like that's like that's like for me the worst episode for me to watch in Avatar. So we'll see how that goes.
We'll see how it goes. Other things from part one, we talked about the Avatar state briefly. Do, though, and who, pants are an illusion, and so is death. Iconic line.
My wife loves the swamp benders, so she was like, "Yay!"
Yeah, they're great. This is I think this is a very quoted Avatar line. Pants are an illusion, and so is death. And it's like weird because it's playing off of like two previous episodes in a weird way.
It's great.
But I think it's great. Toph, now we fight for our kingdom. Toph says sweet. More on that later. But that's a great one. Yeah. Any thoughts on all the returning people?
I don't think Hurry needed to have a mustache. I'm gonna go there.
Wow, that's a controversial take.
Like, I hate like, and maybe this is because I have such negative feelings about my brother's mustache, but like, it's really bad. Like, it's just horrible. I know they were like, we need to have a thing. Time passed, and like, also, I understand that it's funny,
I think it's
and I
supposed to
really
be silly. Yeah.
it's supposed to be silly, but I just hate it. Like, I just hate his little goatee. I hate everything about it. I also hate that he's there because again, Katang, OTP, and Haru like threatened that for 10 minutes and I hated that. So just like
Katara
compared
hugs
to, I
him.
hate it. So it's not like I hate Haru the way I hate Jet, but like it's up there, like it's there.
Well, one of the big changes for me this rewatch is I loved Haru's episode. And I like Haru. I don't think, I mean, he's a little bit of a nothing, but I like him. But he comes back here with the goatee and it kind of kind of ruins it.
I hate it so much.
It's just kind of a joke. I liked his
So,
moment with Katara.
oh,
I'm pretty
Should
sure
we talk?
like Avatar. You guys remember that old show Avatar Abridged?
Yes.
I
That was a
feel
big
like
thing on the in Avatar Bridge. Yeah.
it's a big thing, yeah. And I feel like they did a special about like Haru's mustache.
Yeah, I think so. That's a good point. We should mention Avatar Bridge is a big fandom thing. I was like anti Avatar Bridge, so that's why I probably haven't mentioned it. I like barely watched it for some reason. I felt the need to be very anti.
uh,
I was very stuck up about these things, but yeah, that was a huge thing in the fandom for sure.
my brother and I can quote all of it to you, and it's deeply
Oh my
hysterical.
god.
That's so funny. Like we still are like still quote it to each other. Like it's just so funny.
Was it coming out while Avatar was airing? I can't remember.
I have no
We
idea.
could look it up.
I think it
Look up
might
the
have
dates.
been.
God,
I
it's
think it
so
might have
funny.
been. But it's a good shout. Yeah,
I do think like the first three episodes of Avatar Bridged are hysterical.
The
okay.
Day
It
of
might have
Black
been
Stash.
after the Black Stash. Is that what it's called?
Yes, I have it up right now. Oh, it's hilarious.
Oh, so good.
It might have been after Avatar, is what I'm saying. But we'll see.
Yeah, me and my brother
Um.
can still quote it. It's so funny.
Anyway, the okay. What else from part one? Okay, so Serena Williams'
Oh
cameo
yeah,
comes up
Serena
here.
Williams. I want everyone to know that I edited the outline because Dylan was like, Ira warns the guard, and I was like, Ira warns Serena Williams. It's important.
Ming. Yeah, and it was this role written for Serena Williams. Did they decide that this is because it's kind of like I actually think the Iroh parts of this episode are pretty silly because it's like here's Ming who we've not seen before who is
And
just like
Serena
this is apparently
Williams.
important to forebode what's going to happen next episode. My favorite part is Iroh's like Ming, you have to go home and rest. And Ming's like, no, I feel fine. Like Serena
It's so
Williams'
good.
line read of that is like unintentionally very funny.
It is.
No,
It's
I
really
feel
good.
fine.
Also, I didn't know this obviously when I watched it originally, and watching it now and it like being very obviously Serena Williams is deeply hilarious to me.
Yeah,
Like
no, you'd what?
I was just gonna say, my wife came home like, and I had paused it, to talk to her, and I was like, oh yeah, now I get to back. I'm like, now I'm gonna go back to Serena Williams, and Tanya's like, what? And I'm like, that's Serena Williams. Like, it's
Yeah, to
great.
be fair, in the podcast we recorded hours after this aired, I did say this was Serena Williams, so we were aware at the time, at least on the podcast. But it's I don't know if we knew about it beforehand. I can't remember, but it's like it's very random. But
I love it.
The story is that Serena Williams was an Avatar fan, and so they like got her this cameo, Mike and Brian, because I think she reached out to them. But yeah, she was a fan as Avatar was airing, so shout out OG Avatar fan Serena
I
Williams.
like that's amazing. It's so good.
It's so like if you ever wanted to like, was Avatar popular while it was airing? Like, yes, one of the biggest athletes in the world was a fan of
Serena
it. So
Williams,
yes,
like she was like, "Get me, put me in." Like it's great. It's amazing.
and like a fan early enough for like to have voice acted something in book three, which would have been recorded like a year before it came out. So like
Just
it was
absolutely absurd. It's just, especially now in a like we're still kind of like they get celebrities to do like movies and versus like people who are traditionally voice actors. But like for this, it's hysterical. Like it's like just it's so like this didn't happen. Like and it did. Like it's so random.
it was very random.
I love
Uh,
it. It's so funny.
yeah. Jeff, was there anything else about all of the submarines, the tanks, everything, that the action in part one you wanted to highlight?
So we talked about the futility of even doing the invasion. Like, what are you going to accomplish? If all they wanted to do was like all they could accomplish was decapitating the head of state. So they could have done that with a smaller, like anyone who actually went into the capital, just send them. Why send the whole invasion force? What are they going to do?
Right. At some point in part two, they're like, we're in control of the palace city. So like, are they intending to occupy the palace? Like,
And
how are they going to do that with so few people and maintain it?
and be like, neener, you can't keep fighting the Earth Kingdom because we're here in this building. Like, okay,
Right? Yeah.
but
Like is there like it felt like their plan was like all right, kill the Fire Lord, then we're gonna leave. Like what?
yeah, I don't know. But given that they did this, okay, fine. Now I'm just gonna just one nit of like actual execution. Like Hakoda, or he goes off to do some heroics and gets hurt, badly injured. You
Stupid.
don't you don't do that as a field commander, right? You
Right.
send Bato. He could have done that.
Also, it's
Yeah.
very annoying because right
Yeah.
before he's like,
Where
watch each
was
other
Bato during all
that, and then
this?
he's like, it's very irritating because he's like, watch each other's back, and I'm like, I want you to know that your daughter could like take out like probably most of these people by herself,
Right.
and you're
She
in
just
like
wants to
you
feel important.
like send like honestly send Katara by herself. You and Sokka go. Like you're stupid. Like oh my god, like Katara could like drown like all these people. Like you're like don't piss me off. Like it was
Yeah.
like it's so annoying and like knowing it was about to happen and then the added context of then it puts Katara out because she has to heal her stupid dad. And then
Mhm.
also I get it. It's very upsetting. Your dad got hurt. But I'm like, Sokka, who cares? He's like, Dad, like shut up.
It's been a few references to Korra have been made, and I appreciate that because I think uh, if I would have trusted Zahir and his group to do this much better than the gang. They
Oh
would have
yeah.
got the job done.
Well, they
This is
did.
true.
They did get the job
Exactly.
done.
Exactly. They did. Yes.
Like they just straight up killed the Earth Queen, and they were like, ah, like
I
Yeah.
don't
Diane got
remember what
out.
their follow-up move to that was. Did they just bounce after that? So I guess it's kind of the same thing.
They like
Like
broadcast, hey, the city of
we
they
killed
did
her.
like the whole Bane thing. The city is yours.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
like
Yeah.
yeah, like it's just like they get in, they get out, and they're like, all right, like they're very much like V for Vendetta, like anonymous like broadcasts. Like
I'm very excited for Zahir. Like
I don't know,
it's
book three is so good, but it also hurts really bad. Like I'm
I'm
like,
excited.
oh,
Mhm.
It's true. I wonder if that was their more effective version of this, or them
God.
like repositioning it, because it's a very different context in many
Yeah, and
fashions in Korra.
it's like the redemption of like Combustion Man.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Oh my god. More
Jesus.
Combustion Man. Yeah. And why isn't Combustion Man a part of these episodes?
Well, he's off fighting.
Also,
He's
oh
off
yeah,
trying to track.
that's the that's the next funny part is that Zuko later is like, oh right, I forgot I hired that guy. Like, dude, like you suck.
It's just so silly. This is the
Like,
everything with
like,
Combustion.
are you for real right now? Like, and it's like more like again, you were so lucky. Guitar doesn't just kill you. Like, she should just gut you like a fish. Like,
Yeah. We've Sokka stuff in part one. He's tries to give the speech and he recaps of the some of the early episodes, and then
very
Hakoda
funny.
has to. It's very funny. And then they're like giving Sokka pep talk, and Yeah, and then at the end of part one, Sokka's going to lead the invasion force, as mentioned after Kota gets hurt. It's a lot of Sokka stuff. It's good. It's just yeah, it's fine with Sokka. And then the
Also,
end of part one,
I feel like they kind of like glaze over the like we have to go up this volcano, and it's very much it would be really really easy to just pick them all off.
yeah, not necessarily. We see them going up something, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like there wasn't a
It
ton of
becomes
that.
I think it's pretty clear, like especially like the whole time that they're like not really in it, like because the Fire Nation is just retreating most of it. Like they're like, oh yeah, we're fighting, sort of, ha 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 ha. Like we could have figured
Yeah, I
this out
mean,
earlier.
I think the soldiers themselves were not like informed of this like of the
Well,
plan here.
well, I think in my what I believe my interpretation is that so they evacuated the capital city and then they were like, all right, you guys, we're leaving you here. Deal with that.
Yeah, I feel like they're not aware of the grander plans. That's which would
But
be
that's
very
all.
O's,
I
I
would
think, to like
also
sacrifice them.
Yeah, I also would not be shocked if that was true also, because that's also literally why Zuko's like, don't do that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, maybe they're aware and they're like, you still have to try to fight them off, even if we're prepared. It's still important. Um, but yeah, no, they could have reinforced more, given that they knew it was coming. They could have done even more. They just didn't. They were trying to lure them in. Yeah. Um, and then at the end, Aang's with the empty throne room. Fire Lord Ozai, where are you? At the end of part one. So I think that's a fun scene as well. Any other parts you guys wanted to highlight from the two episodes?
Toph is great. She's so great.
Yes. When
Any Toph
Sokka's like,
moments we missed?
well, when Sokka's like, I am so glad we added you to the group.
Yes, big Taka moment.
So I
There.
also really like it when she like traps the Dai Li agent in like the
Yeah.
girders. I'm like, that's what you
Mhm.
deserve.
And
The
saved Sokka's life.
yes, when the tank centipede like crushes one of the
Mhm.
battlements, great, 10 out of 10.
Oh yes.
I like when Toph goes for the kill on Azula with the long fang move, and Azula
Yeah,
bounces off of it.
yes.
Pretty ruthless. But I mean, Azula was baiting them. Okay, is it time to recap
Oh Lord.
the 2007 podcast? Okay, from December 1st, 2007, podcast 20 from the Spurwell podcast 20, myself with Mel, Jake, and Abby. And Abby leaves kind of early, so it's mostly me, Mel, and Jake for most of it. And it's like a really fun dynamic, honestly. This is probably the one that I listened to the most. I was able to keep going through the embarrassment because young me, Mel, and Jake is very fun. Okay, so this is right after it aired. I'm forgetting all this as I didn't reread the notes before. I had 3 pages of handwritten notes on Day of Black Sun. Uh, I guess I was doing handwritten notes at the time. Now I type them, but still not a lot has changed. We recorded this at 2 a.m. The more than midnight. We referenced the time a lot throughout it. I said best episodes in Avatar history. Am I right? I don't know if that was my real opinion, but that was my opening. I all throughout this, I hated Haru, and we all hated the goatee. We're making did not age well jokes, me and Jake, about insinuating Haru is gay because he has a goatee. That was our
What does that
interpretation.
what does that even mean?
We s- we thought Haru is playing for the other side because he had a goatee now. We thought it was a gay look. That was our
Oh,
homophobic 14-year-old
but
interpretation of it.
incredible.
It's kind of funny. Okay, I have a story. I didn't even know this was coming, but we're tracking the story of when do we start doing the unison word at the end of the podcast? And the answer is from the Spirit World Podcast 20. Mel says randomly, "Hey, I was thinking instead of a unison bye at the end, we should do a unison sweet like Toph does in this episode." It is Mel's suggestion, inspired by Toph's sweets in the Day of Black Sun. This is the start of what will become the unison word from the episode. I found it.
Incredible.
So shout out Mel. Mel is definitely the star of this. We'll see more. Mel says I hope Haru randomly falls off Appa. So more Haru hate. Um, Okay, I brought up my theory apparently is that Avatar is all. I think this wasn't like my definitive theory. I was just throwing it out there. Avatar is all from Aang's point of view, which we kind of talked about this episode. And, but my evidence was because Katara always looks so good, so we're clearly seeing this from Aang's point of view. which I think is kind of in reference to all the sparkly stuff, but also I'm just like, wow, Qatar's so hot that this must all be Aang inflating this. And I said the last scene of the show could have been Aang telling the story from the future, like older Aang telling the story of Avatar looking back. That was one of my predictions.
Wow.
It's interesting, which is kind of a How I Met Your Mother type thing, which I think was airing around this time. But I think my idea, there's obviously parts of the show that are not Aang perspective. I think my idea was that Aang heard about those and after the fact, and now this is older Aang telling them back, which I think is a fun theory. We're talking about the Katang kiss. Jake was trolling, saying she didn't kiss him back. So Jake frequently was trolling about Zutara, even though he wasn't really Zutara. That was at the time. He says, I read it on a forum. Mel apparently was fighting people on TV.com about this, Qatar's reaction. Um, my thing here is I was saying Qatar was being very flirty to Aang with her lines and like trying to trying to bait Aang into kissing her, which I don't really think is true looking
I love it.
back, but that was my interpretation. Aang cutting Qatar off, kissing her. Mel, that was the best thing in the history of like anything. Aang
She
kissing
is
Qatar. That
correct.
was Mel's. Uh, we just went through what Katara was doing this whole time because like the first 20 times I watched this, this is me. I'm looking at Katara and what she's doing during the kiss because as I've said before, I put myself in Aang's shoes during the story. So it's like I'm kissing Katara like that. That's what I said.
Oh,
Why am I admitting that?
yeah, that's on you. That's
It's kind
oof.
of pretty dorky thing. I guess I'm 14, so I think it's cool that to imagine I'm kissing Katara.
I
Why am
love
I
it.
admitting
That's
this?
super.
It's pretty
Like
loser behavior.
it's
Um,
incredible.
but yeah, I kept saying Katara's like baiting Aang to kiss her. It's interesting.
If it helps, like to be our age now and look back, it's like it doesn't matter. Everything we did that age was just super loser. Like it's okay.
It's true, which is why these podcasts are hard to listen to.
Just
Mel said CASD in reference to Katang, but I do not remember what that one means. I earlier remembered ZKST. If you listened to an earlier podcast, I don't know what CASD is. If anyone remembers that. I
incredible.
said I thought Ozai's surprise at Zuko telling him that Aang is alive seemed forced, and that Ozai actually knew. So that's interesting. I don't know if I agree with that, but I don't know that I necessarily disagree. So like, did Ozai actually know that Aang was alive? I think no. I think I do disagree with that, but that was my interpretation at the time. I don't know if there's
I
I think
th-
it's a valid thought, I guess. Would
I think it's a valid like thing to think, but I definitely don't think he knew. Like
yeah. Ozai's just very campy in general. That's why I found it.
does
But
are there any ramifications? Does he get mad at Azulito? I mean, I'm pretty sure the answer is no, but
I don't think we see it. But we'll see. So we're talking about Ursa. Mel and I thought Zuko would go looking for Ursa after this, not go directly to joining.
valid makes sense based on everything that literally happened.
This was a big theory at the time. So, I said, "When do you think we'll see Ursa?" Was a quote from me. Answer: never. Uh, me Zuko redirecting Ozai is my favorite non-Katang scene of the show. Valid take. So it was beloved even at the time. I said Zuko's going to go look for Ursa next episode, not immediately join with Aang. Mel said, well, no, he's going to join them immediately and needs to earn their trust. She had like the exact right read on that. Well, I thought she said the opposite before, but no, she immediately channeled the needs to earn their trust type of thing. Although Mel predicts that Ursa will be at the Western Air Temple. So we all thought we all thought Ursa was coming into play. We didn't think this would not happen. Um, I said, oh yeah, I wanted season 4 so we could see Aang Katara lovey dovey. We mentioned this possible season 4 a lot. I guess I'll explain more in the finale, but yeah, I wanted the Katang fluff season. I mentioned the fanfic, The Southern Air Temple by Live X The X Magic, which they go to the Southern Air Temple to live after the finale, and it's 21 chapters of Katang fluff. And now I'm excited that the Western Air Temple could be just like that fic. That was me at the time. So I thought we were going to get a bunch of Katang
Now I
fluff
want to look
at
it up
the
and see if I read that fic. That's so funny.
I found it favorited on my FF.net account. I want to read it, but the Oh yeah, but more on that in a second. Anyway, the scores, we scored this as one episode combined, which I feel like is blasphemous because
Yeah, I can't
my
believe you
thing
did
was
that. That's
scoring them. I
crazy.
can't believe I don't. That's very
What's wrong
unlike
with
me.
you?
I gave the two combined a 9.7. Jake gave them a 9.9 repeating. Mel gave them a 9. Only because she said some little things like Katara having to stay back. Didn't
Also,
is why
I'm
she gave it
sorry,
a
I
9.
like that Jake is like just consistently trolling all of you all the time.
He's
Like
he's just
9.9
he's just
repeat,
trolling. Yeah,
like
he's completely the
9.9
comic
repeating
relief of.
is so
And then we
obnoxious.
had a brief debate about whether 9.99 repeating equaled 10.
Oh my god, that
So
is so annoying. Oh my god. The thing is, I'm glad I wasn't there because he would have rage baited me like so bad.
he's rage baiting the whole time, and this is pretty funny.
It's incredible.
But shout out Mel for calling out the thing that annoyed me at 30, which is Katara having to stay back. That annoyed her
Good Mel, look,
at the time.
Mel is always locked in. Mel
She was
knows.
very locked in. Speaking
She's
of,
locked in.
Here's the hidden Zutara from Day of Black Sun. Mel says your hidden Zutara for this week: Aang and Katara kiss while stationed in Fire Nation waters, which has the word fire and water in it. Therefore, Zuko and Katara will kiss, creating their own Fire Nation waters.
That's
Bravo.
incredible. Yeah, indeed. Her mind
It's
is just
pretty incredible.
incredible.
This high level hidden Zutara at the time. We'll see if Jake has a. Do you have a new hidden or Jeff? Do you have a new hidden Zutara for these
I
episodes?
I do, yes. It's a twofer.
Okay.
One is the kiss, of course, and the fact that she was not super enthused. She was obviously thinking about her other love interest. So
Yes.
there's that. And then also when Zuko is confronting his dad, who shoots lightning at him, that lightning is going at his heart, and he needs to use an advanced waterbending technique to save his heart. And so obviously he's thinking about his waterbending love the whole time. He's trying to fight off that lightning.
Wow. Yeah, because Arrow says that he learned it. He came up with this technique from the waterbenders, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's next level. That's a good one too. That's a
I
good
just
one
rolled
too.
my
Yeah.
eyes, so that was a good one.
Mm.
That's how you know it's a good one.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that just like
Since I
he's
can't
like,
see you, I should tell you I'm rolling my eyes.
yes, exactly. Like you started talking, and I just like felt this like visceral like disgust. So great job, you did a great job.
Well, thank you.
It was good. It was good. Okay, shout out to all the citizens. But yeah, Mel's at the time very funny. Jake's crack ship of the week. Two people who love conquering towns. I don't know why this. Haru and Azula.
I love it. Great.
He heard Azula has a soft side for Haru's brand of facial hair. That was the crack ship of the week. I said I think Western Air Temple will air in February. Wrong. None, not for a long time. And we did the unison suite at the end. Oh yeah, I guess we didn't come back to this, but yeah, I guess okay. No, we'll talk about the next podcast. But we did the suite, so it's the first unison something in podcast 20. In podcast 20, in podcast 21, we also do suite at the end. So I don't think we quite got to the point of doing something
I
different
love this.
each time, but we
This is
did suite
so.
again
I love
in
this
21.
process.
You're here. This is. I'm a historian analyzing the podcast, trying to come up with the truth. Okay, we have
Oh,
podcast 21. I did not listen to this full thing, so I have much less for it. Podcast 21 on December 8th, 2007. This is more Day of Black Sun talk. So
oh
this is the
Lord
first. I think
Jesus.
the first instance of me doing multiple podcasts on a
God.
big episode. That's a classic move. That
Did
me with
6
Abby.
hours of Korra finale
Yes,
coverage. I still want to cry
this
when I
is
think
the
about
progenitor of that. Me with Abby,
Jesus.
Jody, Jake, Ruth, Mel, and Martin in his first podcast, who I believe wrote into the podcast before that, but Martin was very smart. He's a great podcast guest. I just skipped. I couldn't do another full one, so I skipped around this podcast. So here's some highlights. Mostly these are from the mailbag, but this was from Avatar News. We revealed all the episode titles. So we have just posted 4 choices for the 313 title for title elimination. Only one of them is real. Here were the 3 fake titles. The Fire Lady, the Firebending Masters, the real title, the White Lotus, and the Escape. So people had to figure out which was the real title amongst all those options.
Really funny. The Fire
Um,
Lady is like foreshadowing.
yes, that we nailed it. Okay, these 2 episodes apparently aired in the Netherlands and Belgium early. By the way, we talked
Oh
about
my
that a little
God,
bit
the
in
OG.
podcast 21. They were dubbed though in not English. They were not aired in English. So that's a
Oh my God,
classic
love it.
Korra book 3 move with the Spanish dub. So that was fun. Um, Okay, here's some Okay, I skipped the mailbag because I couldn't do
There's
it.
only so much
Here's
torture Dylan can handle.
Yeah, and I also usually can't handle a mailbag, but there's some good stuff. And here's a letter we got from Crazy Zuko Fangirl.
Nice
First of
name,
all, I
yep.
love your podcast. People think I'm crazy because I put it on my iPod, and when I listen to the podcast in public, I laugh a lot. Second, I want to know if you think it's fair that older kids in like 8th or ninth grade get made fun
Holy
of for
shit.
liking Avatar. People always call me Grassbender or something of a similar nature, and it's very annoying. Has this happened to you? That was a letter we got.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. I don't know what Grassbender.
Also, so one, incredible. I used to listen to the podcast on my iPod. That's incredible.
Mm.
Wow, 8th and ninth grade. I just
Older kids in 8th or ninth grade. And we're
older
all like,
kids.
no.
No. Oh
Okay.
my God.
Okay. So we're talking about that for a while. And then here's a story Mel told. I copied this from the transcript, but thank goodness for the auto-generated transcripts helping me get through some of these. This was in response to telling people, this is a story Mel told. Just randomly, I find out my friends and people at my school actually watched the show. Today in PE, we were like waiting for the bell to ring, and there's like, this is a weird story, but there's like a hole in a brick wall that looked like a nail or a screw had been there once, and someone said something like, "Oh, it must belong to the ant people and stuff." And then someone comes by and says, or one of my friends comes by and says, "Oh, we should like invade it on the day of Black Sun." And I just look at it like, oh my God. It's like, oh my God, that's a story Mel told.
That's
Uh,
incredible.
I thought Mel is so smart despite being youngish, and then she tells this the nonsensical story. But
Right.
this taps in. This truly taps into being like 14. I feel like is the story.
Yes, absolutely.
I didn't really follow,
This is what
but
happens when you trap a bunch of teenagers in a building for 8 hours a day for 12 years. This is
this
what
is
happens.
true. I
Like,
think the ultimate point was that someone referenced Avatar without her prompting them. So the point was that yes, her friends
right,
watch Avatar, and yes,
right.
it's not uncool to watch Avatar.
Well, and again,
Um,
I will be 30 this year, and I go to this donut shop, which I went to recently, and she's like, yeah, I used to watch Ladybug when I was a kid, and I'm like, I'm going to shoot myself. Like, I have only been an adult watching Ladybug,
you
so I just
used
want to
to watch
die.
Ladybug.
It was
I
meanwhile
know.
still watching, like, I'm literally like, yay, new episodes came out, like, I'm going to go die, thanks.
People are gonna be like Avatar, this like old fashioned show from like
Also,
my
that's
parents' youth.
no, that's my favorite. So people like, it's really bad. Like I'm like I'll be in like at work and it's like a normal person will be like and just say normal, I guess, just versus myself. Like when people talk about Avatar around me, like you can't it's like activating a sleeper cell. Like people are like, "Hey, do you know about Avatar?" And I'm like, "Don't talk to me." Like please like neither one of us want to go through this. Like
It's not worth it. It's like,
it's not I'm
yep.
like I can't I'm like
Obviously, I'm
I
a big
can't
fan of Avatar. We can't get into
it's like I
this right
can't like
now.
I was like I can't deal with this. Like I like even if we left aside the whole like podcast bit, it's like I can't deal with this. Like I'm not dealing with it. Like that's like my supervisor said something the other day, and then I just unfortunately I was like, oh, did you? Oh, that's what he asked me. He was like, have you seen the Avatar like the live action on Netflix? And I just kind of stared at it for a minute. I'm like, yeah.
We're not talking about this right now.
Basically, I was like, I can't like. I was like, I can't deal with this right now. Like that's
Yeah,
it's not. We can't do
no,
this.
we're not doing this right. We'll have to do this again this year, but the live action show.
Yeah, I was like, please
Um,
don't talk to me. Like,
don't talk to me about it. The only recent thing I've is the Avatar Magic cards. My two of my coworkers who also got some Avatar Magic cards, so we had to talk about that.
my
I
brother got me
actually
some for
picked some of those
Christmas.
You got some Avatar
You
Magic
got some?
cards, Jeff?
from Japan just now.
Oh, are they
Ooh,
Japanese
so they're
Avatar? That's
Japanese.
even better. Yeah,
Yes.
Ooh, you win,
They're not
Jeff.
for me. They're for my brother. He does magic.
Okay.
So.
Nice. You're a good
nice.
brother.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, good brother. Okay, let me.
I have to resist every time when I go to like GameStop or like one of my other gaming stores, like because the boosters are just there, and I'm like, restrain yourself. Like I just
Yes,
want to
restrain
just.
yourself.
On the sort of like meeting people in real life who know the show, like I came close to meeting someone who actually listened to our show a few years back. Or I met they listened to some Avatar podcast, and we all thought it was ours, but on reflection, it might not have been. But anyways, that was fun.
other Avatar
So
podcasts.
you do
Oh my
know, Jeff, you
goodness.
do know that I worked with someone who ended up being an actual like very regular what would we call
And then we
Ty?
got we got YouTube comments
Contributor.
from
Yes,
Well,
from Ty.
very nice. That's
Delaney's
fantastic.
No, literally.
coworker.
So I'm like
Very nice.
literally at work, and it's a brand new job. This is my first job out of college. I've been there 2 weeks. He comes in, and I'm like, "Oh, hi, I'm Delaney," and he like pauses, and he's like, "Do you like Steven Universe?" I'm like, "What a weird question." Yes, and then he's like, "Are you on?" And I was like, "I have to leave. I have to quit my job and like go hide in a hole." So,
Oh wow.
This
yeah.
this was a whole this was a whole thing in From the Spirit World. I think of people recognizing some people. There was like some instances of people being recognized, but we could. I think that was
Now this was overly
maybe
animated.
Mel
It
and
was
Brit or
not.
something. Yeah, but this was over there. I don't know if we all have talked about this, but anyway, let me finish out the recap here of the.
Yes.
Uh,
But also,
I
I don't know
said
what grass bending means. Like, I
I
don't
don't
know
know.
what
I
that
don't know.
means.
I don't know what that means. It was an insult, apparently. There's a question about will Aang and Katara be a couple? I said yes. Aang and Katara will be in a romantic relationship in the next couple of episodes. Is what I said. So
Ooh,
I
ooh,
was convinced that they were dating
man.
now. Like,
Man,
wow,
you
I
were
didn't
like,
remember
yeah.
that. I thought that.
Oh my
I
God,
know.
you
I was
must
like,
have
oh,
just
okay.
been destroyed.
I was pretty. I from memory, I did not like the second half of book three. So we'll see what. Well, listening to
So
this
funny.
podcast.
Oh my God.
On the podcast, I'm like, okay, dating is like a strong word. So I don't know if they're going to be dating, but they'll be in a romantic relationship. That was my
Also,
commentary
also,
on
it's
this.
really funny now after having covered Ladybug. Like,
Yeah, why?
y-
Because they're
it,
dating.
yeah, I guess because it's so you're like 14 and you're like, oh my God, they're gonna be dating, and then we watched Ladybug, which is like the most horrible will they or won't they show that's ever
Or
existed.
I can't
It's just
escape it.
funny.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like if you would have given up on love, it would have been understandable. Like, and then you didn't. Like, it's deeply funny to me. Like, it's just who you are.
I should have given up. TV
Right.
shows are just the worst. They never show couples actually dating. We've
Yes.
talked about this a lot.
Yes.
Um,
Except Kim
yeah. So
Possible.
okay, that's a good one. Okay, last email I heard, what type of bender are we? So I have the
Oh,
receipts of what type
Jesus.
of bender we were at the time. Abby said many. Jake's firebending, Jody waterbending, Martin airbender, Mel firebender because you don't need to be near the element to use it. So was consistently firebender, Ruth earthbender, and myself I said waterbender ever since season one because
What?
it's defensive and it's not aggressive.
What?
So yes, I identify as an airbender now, Delaney, but I that was a change during Korra times. I was
That
more of
is.
a
I am
waterbender identifier
so.
during Avatar.
This. I can't. This is a lot to
I
process.
think I
You
said
think you know
this.
somebody?
I think I said this on this rewatch podcast. This is a known thing that I remember, but yes, I thought I was much more waterbender. I was very
I'm
like
shook.
pacifist, and so I identified with that aspect of waterbending. But really, airbending's the more so.
I'm
But
just so shook.
Korra really unlocked the airbending stuff more.
I'm
So
just so shook right now.
it was like a big deal in my identity when I like changed what bending type I
Right.
identify with. It's like when I decided after college my favorite color is green now instead of red. That's like a big change, you know?
That
It's
is
like
a big
a
change. Well, it's like when
yeah,
I went from because I used to black was my favorite color and now it's orange, so I can completely understand.
it's a big deal. Okay.
It's a big deal.
And then we
Mel
did
notably still identifies as a firebender. Just wanna
yes. So
put that out there.
on point from that. And that was the best explanation why, honestly. And it's true, firebending the most useful.
I'm trying to remember, Jeff. You're also an airbender, aren't you?
I am. I think I'd love like give me a superpower. I'd love to fly. That'd be amazing. But I think
Right,
I'm more a waterbender. Second.
waterbender. Okay,
Waterbender, that's right.
I'm an earthbender,
Similar
obviously.
vein to me. Yes. I think we did this in the
I couldn't
beginning.
rember.
But yeah.
Look, I know we've had this discussion, which is why I was trying to remember Jeff's.
But I just wanted to recap what the children said to that question. So it
Amazing.
was notable. And it's funny. Even at the time, I was like, I think we answered this already on podcast 20. I was like, I think we talked about this,
But
but
why
I
not?
guess let's talk about. And then we did the Unison Suite. So I think we have to end on that on this
I
podcast
completely agree. That's how I felt when you brought it up again. I was like, that's what we're
in
in now.
tribute to it. So we'll see if I'll try to list, even though there's there's podcasts in because it's now okay. So if you look at the timeline, there's many months between Day of Black Sun and Western Air Temple. There are about 8 months between the two, which is wild.
Oh,
So we did a lot of podcasts then. So I'll have to just kind of skim through some of those to see how the unison evolves at the end when we start doing different words. So I'll report back on that to come. But anyway, that's all I got. Oh yeah, we did it. We did Hidden Zutara. Very important. Any final thoughts, Jeff?
Really solid couple episodes, and I think at the time I'm like, it's like, okay, cool. This is like a cool coda or whatever, like midpoint of the season. Now I'm excited for the back half.
Yes. Delaney, final thoughts.
Basically everything Jeff said. Jeff's right.
You right. You could have just said
You right. Yeah, you right. You right.
Yeah. You right. You right. That's what I would have said. Yeah. So this was even more. When I watched the episodes, I'm like, okay, I don't know how much we're gonna get out of them, but we got a lot out of this. So and this, the world had evolved to contribute to our discussion on this. That's great.
Unfortunately,
is one way of looking at it. But okay, honestly, one of the most hype parts of this rewatch for me, because like I said, there's a lot of parts of the second half of book 2 that I was not a fan of. So will I like Western Air Temple, Firebending Masters, Boiling Rock? These are all candidates that I could love more than before.
I can't believe
Western
you
Air
don't like
Temple.
Firebending Masters. It's so good.
I think I liked it. I just like
right.
overall.
In comparison.
I could tell you where I ranked it originally. I have this information.
Like it's the Zukang episode. Like it's
well, I don't think I was shipping Zukang.
Obviously.
Firebending Masters was ranked 41, so not that high for me. So maybe that's a candidate to go up. For sure.
All right.
What was I gonna say? I don't know. Oh, the Western Air Temple. I hated Katara threatening Zuko at the time. So I that's one of my clearest memories. I hated it.
That has got to change. It's like the best.
So I probably will not feel that way this time, but I'm also eager to listen to the podcast on that.
Give Katara a gun.
It.
Like let her have a hammer. Like just take him out.
Hammer. She could get a hammer. It's not like it's not.
She could get a hammer. No, I just meant sorry. That's
she could get a hammer.
I'm sorry. Let me give some. Oh, I have to do it. We're almost over, but I have to do it. I know all the time we're talking about Doctor Who, and we're like, give the companions hammers. Like, just let them hit the Doctor. So that's why I'm used to saying give them a hammer. So give Katara a hammer.
Screwdriver. It's part of the toolkit, I guess.
Yeah, but no, like hit the Doctor with a hammer. It's what they deserve.
Hit Zuko with a. Okay, so that'll be fun.
Or anyway, give Katara a gun. Also valid. Just.
Let us know what you thought of these episodes, our discussion on everything. Leave a comment wherever you're listening. Thanks to those guys who've left comments so far. It's been good stuff. You can support us via Patreon at patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thanks to all our current patrons, especially our patron podcast Carter, and thanks as always to our patron executive producers Steve, Michael, and Phoenician. 3 left on this rewatch. Might be a minute before our next ones. We will see, but 3 left, and so I'm confident we can get 3 in. How many months? 7 months before the movie.
Don't say it's over now. It's jinxed.
Maybe even Korra before, but probably not. But
Jesus!
I got the what comics I had from my collection from my parents, so I'm prepared to try to read the comics beforehand. That'll be an endeavor. Anyway, thanks for listening. Oh yeah, well, we're gonna end on sweet.
Yep.
Okay. Yes. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next time. 1, 2, 3.
Sweet.